Good evening, everyone. I'm Simone Sanders Townsend, and we begin tonight with the continued fallout from the Signal group chat security leak. This is after journalist Jeffrey Goldberg revealed that he was accidentally included in a group chat about plans to bomb Houthis in Yemen. Today, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe clashed with Democrats at a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing that was about oversight. Take a listen.
You were not TG on this group chat?
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you refuse to acknowledge whether you were on this group chat?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Why are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security Council.
Because it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
They're talking about the timing of U.S. airstrikes, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and therefore the timing of sending U.S. air crews into hostile airspace, correct?
Yes.
And therefore the time period during which enemy air defenses could target U.S. air crews flying in enemy airspace, correct?
I don't know that.
You do know that.
Were you using your private phone or a public phone for the Signal discussions?
I won't speak to this because it's under review by the National Security Council.
If you're making the statement, the Signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is end-to-end decryption. So to finish,
I understand encryption.
It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels.
CIA Director Ratcliffe confirmed that he was part of a leaked group chat that discussed attacking the Houthis, literally the actual plans for the attack. He also testified that the use of Signal for communications is a practice that preceded the Trump administration and that the Biden administration had authorized it. I cannot tell you how crazy that is as someone that used to work in the Biden administration. I can tell you it's not true. He also said that no classified information was shared on the chat. So the story goes. As for President Trump, well, he is standing by Mike Waltz, the national security advisor who added the Atlantic's editor-in-chief to the Signal group chat, saying in a phone interview today with NBC News, quote, "Michael Waltz has learned a lesson and he's a good man." Late today, The Atlantic released a statement saying attempts to disparage and discredit The Atlantic, our editor, and our reporting follow an obvious playbook by elected officials and others in power who are hostile to journalists and the First Amendment rights of all Americans. Our journalists are continuing to fearlessly and independently report the truth in the public interest. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California, former Republican Congressman Denver Riggleman, and Neera Tanden, who is the president and CEO of the Center for American Progress. She served as domestic policy advisor to President Biden. And Neera, I'm actually going to start with you. Was it a policy of the Biden administration to use Signal to officially communicate?
Absolutely not. In fact, we were informed you cannot use Signal to communicate anything that was of government purpose, and definitely not classified material. So that was a lie.
Sounds like a lie. Congressman Swalwell, we have heard from a number of individuals today. We saw that very explosive hearing, and I have more sound I'm going to play from it. But we also heard from leader Hakeem Jeffries today, and he wrote a letter to Donald Trump about Pete Hegseth, saying the Secretary of Defense should be fired immediately. What is the conversation inside the House Democratic Caucus tonight?
Simone, it's been a long day at the Capitol for me. Are you telling me that Pete Hegseth is still the Secretary of Defense and he's not been fired?
That would be seem to be the case. I'm checking my phone feverishly, though.
That's insane. This guy, by the way, they want to fire everyone at the CIA and FBI, and they want to replace it with this. I mean, Hegseth should be gone. Frankly, everyone on that group chat who didn't say, hey, who is this weird number that isn't responding, they should never have access to classified information. They also should all be told to turn over who their Signal contacts are so that we can understand what other exposure that we have, because I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that these morons have been doing this on other operations and that we are probably exposed in other ways.
Let's play Senator Warner and Senator Cotton on whether the Signal messages were classified. Take a listen.
they testified, is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's no intelligence community classified information. Is that correct?
That's
Director
correct.
Ratcliffe, is that correct? Director Gabbard?
Yes, Chairman.
Well, again,
That's not correct. She said repeatedly there's nothing classified, period.
right, period. You can't have it both. And again, we'll see. I cannot believe this is not going to come out. And if it's not classified, again, we'd ask you to give it to the public today. I'm sure one of your aides back there probably got it on paper. If you got it here, it's not classified, stand by your position.
That was Senator Jack Reed, who was off camera noting that's not correct. She said repeatedly there's nothing classified, period. Denver Riggleman, we have heard a lot from Democrats today. We've heard a lot from the White House today. I have not heard as much from Republicans who serve in the House or the Senate. We heard from Congressman Don Bacon of Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, where he noted that this was out of the ordinary, and if he did this when he was serving in the armed services, he would have been fired, discharged. Where are the Republicans on this? Because I remember the emails.
Well, I think they're hiding, and Eric, I think they fired him on Signal, so I don't know if we've seen that yet. But I think what we have right now, though, is when I'm looking at Republicans, they're in hiding. And I was looking at that. Let me tell you, I was an Air Force intelligence officer. As you know, Don Bacon is a retired Air Force general. But when you look at this, we had to deal with classified data all the time. And what I find interesting is that Tulsi Gabbard was talking about the NSC was under review for these actual chains. Well, that's the DNI's purview. I don't even know if they understand when it comes to clearance adjudication or actually clearing these type of signal chats. So you're already looking at lies that are coming out of the person who's supposed to know how intelligence works. It's pretty interesting. Also, when the SecDef is on there, the SecDef has the executive authority to declassify, to release all those texts. So if they're not classified, why wouldn't you just release them? And here's the other thing. When you're using Signal, you have to invite people on there. So for some reason, and I know that we sort of know about this, Jeff Goldberg got on those chats. I've heard that, well, he allowed himself on those chats, or he shouldn't have been on those chats. So are you telling me that Signal isn't that actually secure? So everything that you're saying, if you have people like me who worked in the intelligence business, we're going to tear them apart. And I think what they need is they need staffers to go up there who's actually been in the intelligence business to write the questions for the senators so they can actually ask the proper questions so they get the proper answers. I'm to the point that I'm just so embarrassed for our country, but what we've done for our global integrity and for our reputation, I don't know how we get this back in a long, long time.